Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome to another one of my Cotswold walks, number 7 today. I've started the walk here in Moreton-in-Marsh in the northern parts of the Cotswolds and north part of Gloucestershire. In fact, it's a circular walk today. We're going to go to the delightful village of Borton-on-the-Hill. Beautiful scenery behind. We've got a field of all-sealed rape there, contrasting with the greenery of the oak tree right next to it. Anyway, we're going to make our way now across to the village, following initially the Monarch's way. See you in a bit. Just leaving the town of Moreton-in-Marsh now, and when I head back into the town, that's where I parked my car today. We'll do a little tour of the town, although it won't be main focus. I know that towns aren't a particular attraction on my channel, but I will take some photographs there because it is a beautiful town too, and it'll be a bit quieter by the time I've headed back. But we're continuing our walk here today towards the delightful village of Borton-on-the-Hill. Just finding these buttercups here against the blue sky is just absolutely beautiful. I've just taken a moment just to take some photographs here because it's just too good an opportunity on this sunny May Sunday. Now the first stretch of today's walk, going towards the village of Borton-on-the-Hill, follows the national trail of Monarch's Way, which we've come across many times here on West Country Wanderings. 623 miles. You know, it's the king that left the battle of in Worcester, English Civil War and all that, and well, yeah, I won't go to bore you with all the details, but yeah, it does follow part of that. So the first part of it might be a bit busy with walkers. I'm filming this on a Sunday today, delightful sunny May day, so you can imagine there's lots of people around. I had fun getting here, well, not driving here today as well because of the traffic. The main A46, which runs up from Evesham, junction 9 of the M5 to Evesham up to Alcester and beyond into Warwickshire, Leamington and stuff. It was closed just beyond the Tennington Hands on the border between Gloucestershire and Worcestershire. Closed today for repairs. Just retreating, Worcestershire County Council retreating it. So they've decided to close the entire road there today, which meant that the road I was on heading up towards the Cotswolds, heading up towards Broadway and Fish Hill was extremely busy. But anyway, I'm here. Still got plenty of time because it won't get dark until 9 o'clock this evening, so we've got plenty of time to do filming and photography here on West Country Wanderings on this delightful Cotswold walk. I will insert the map so you can see it now, so you can have a look if you want to do this walk yourself, if you're staying or considering visiting this delightful part of the world here in the Cotswolds. Yeah, I think May is my favourite month. I think May was the month that I started walking the Cotswold Way as well, so it brings back memories of doing that, and obviously I'll be starting another journey soon, although I won't be trying to do it all in one go like I said on my vlog the other day, on vlog 10. So yeah, this is a beautiful part of the world. Moreton-in-Marsh is a town on crossroads, literally can get a little bit congested of traffic. So on the 429, which is the Foss Way, I mentioned that before, comes up from Bath, Cirencester, up to Warwick and beyond. I think it goes up to Leicester. It also crosses over the main road between Worcester and Oxford, the A44, and they intersect right on the town, so you can imagine it's busy. It's a market town still. I think on market days, non-market days, you can park where the market is held, and it has a market hall, which we'll look at later in today's video. But where we're heading today in terms of Borton-on-the-Hill is famous for a couple of things around there. There are some gardens there, the famous Borton-Hill Gardens. Not sure if they're open today, so I can't promise we'll be able to get a look around that, but if we do, we do. The other thing it's famous for is two things. Batsford Arboretum is near there, and I have visited that before, not on the channels yet, so I'm sure that'll be a separate video here on West Country Wanderings. And also a place that one of my fellow YouTubers, Carol and Derek, they went to Sizencote. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not entirely sure. It could be Sizencote. Not entirely sure. But it's an Indian style garden. You have to see it to believe it. Stunning garden there and stunning house. Again, that's one I'm sure we'll visit on a future episode here on West Country Wanderings. Now, the main thing that Moreton-in-Marsh is famous for these days, apart from being on a crossroads and being a market, Cotswold market town and all the associated things with that, is the fire service training depot. The National Fire Service Training Depot used to be RAF Moreton-in-Marsh. In fact, as I was driving in on the A44 on the opposite side of the road, there is, I think it's called Winchester Museum. I'm not quite sure the significance of that, perhaps to do with the plane. It's only open on Sundays, so I'll drop the details of that below. I haven't got time to go there today, unfortunately, but it looks like it's got lots of memorabilia of RAF Moreton-in-Marsh here in the Cotswolds. So that clip there just included with the conservation area, which obviously I can't walk into, the Buttercups looking beautiful. Behind that was Batsford House, and it's around Batsford House that the Arboretum is, although Batsford House itself isn't in fact open to the general public. Now the sun just come out, giving the contrast of the blue sky, and look at the yellow buttercups behind that. The contrast between the two colours was really pleasing. As you can see, we're in the northern parts of the Cotswolds. Broadway is about 7 miles to the left or to the west, and we have places like Stow-on-the-Wold about 6 or 7 miles to the south, and another major town in the Cotswolds, which is Chipping Norton. So that is to the right, that lies in Oxfordshire. In fact, there is a stone, I think it's called the Four Counties Stone, which now is a bit of a misnomer, because originally there was the border of 4 counties. I think the 4 counties were Worcestershire, Gloucestershire, Warwickshire, Oxfordshire, and I think it changed in 1934, and now it's effectively the 3 counties stone, because it's now just Oxfordshire, Warwickshire and Gloucestershire. And the nearest town north in Warwickshire from Moreton-in-Marsh is Shipston-on-Stour. Now, I know I've given a shout out to these good people before, and that is the people of the Cotswold Voluntary Service. The Kissing Gate, hi Roy, that I've just gone through here has recently been replaced by one of their volunteers, or maybe 2 or 3 of them, to get the posts in, I guess. And thanks to their efforts to have these footpaths all maintained across the Cotswolds. And I mean, recently I live in the southern part of the Cotswolds, well, not quite the southern part, and I don't live down near Bath Stroud area. More southern than here anyway, southern mid part of Gloucestershire. And they've also recently replaced all of the kissing gates and fencing near to where I live as well. They do an absolutely sterling job to do that. I'm not sure where the funding for that comes from. Because this is the Monarch's Way, because we're on a national trail, and the ones near to where I live are quite close to, although not all of them are, quite close to the Cotswold Way as well. But yeah, they do a fantastic job. So if you know anyone that does volunteers for the Cotswold Countryside Service and volunteers for replacing these kissing gates, or indeed you are one yourself, thank you very much, because you do a sterling job. Now, aside from the aforementioned gardens, Borton-on-the-Hill Gardens and Borton-on-the-Hill, there is a pub there, I believe it's called the Horse and Groom. Other than that, I don't really know much about it. I've only been through it twice. Once on the bus when I was doing the Cotswold Way, when I finished the walk at Chipping Campden, I caught a bus from Chipping Campden to Moreton-in-Marsh railway station, because that lies on the Cotswold line. That got me back home again. That was the first time I went through the village, kind of when it stuck in my head because I thought it's beautiful, and I just drove it through it just now and it also looks equally beautiful, so I can't wait to when we get there. Just heard a peregrine go in my head here. Sorry, it's a bit dark. I'm under this fabulous oak tree. I just get brighter. Just got to go through this style here, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it here. It is quite busy here today. Obviously it's a beautiful day and it's a Sunday, and of course a lot of people, I guess, they park and decide to walk over to Batsford, because there's also, as well as the Arboretum, there is a cafe there, restaurant and a garden centre, I believe, so I guess people take the advantage of having a walk. And also Moreton is only, I think it's about an hour and 30 minutes or so from Paddington, because it's on the main Cotswold railway line, and you could come here just as a day trip from London. That's part of where you live, so fabulous idea, and it gets you right into the heart of the Cotswolds here. Just come to this spot here. It's delightful because they've actually planted some new oak trees. Normally it's just pasture land, well, probably for dairy cattle, but it has been cleared. They've let the grass grow long and they've planted some new oak trees, so it's like a real rewilding project here alongside the Monarch's Way. Now behind me is our first glimpse of Borton-on-the-Hill. When I continue along this Monarch Way footpath, shortly I'll need to turn left and then we'll start to climb. Certainly climb quite considerably up the contours, judging by my OS map. A beautiful view of the village here. Can't wait to get to see it up close. Now a subtle observation time. Perhaps it's my autistic brain, I'm not sure. But I've just been hearing snatches of conversations. In fact, I seem to be the only solitary walker here today. I don't mind, because I'm really enjoying being absorbed in the countryside here. The nature and the birds, as you can hear, all around me. But I can't help noticing that all of the people that have been coming this way, down from Bolton and heading up from Moreton, when I've been overhearing, and I haven't been deliberately eavesdropping, but I can't help hearing snatches of conversation, and every single conversation, bar none, has revolved around materialistic things. What I mean being that they've been talking about new cars, new houses, extensions, new clothes. It's all been completely absorbed around new material things, and I've not noticed anybody talking about what they've actually looking at around them in terms of the nature. They're so absorbed in their own conversations with each other rather than looking around what's around them, and I think that's the beauty of photography, because it gets you to do that, because obviously I'm needing to create content for the video here today, so I'm being observant, listening, it's both a visual thing and an audio thing, to see what are the best things to include in the content. And I can't help thinking it's a bit of a shame for the people that are just wrapped up in their own materialistic worlds and self-absorbed by that. They're missing so much by not just actually coming out and enjoying the experience of the walk and nature that is around them. So we now have Batsford Arboretum. As I say, it's got a garden centre and a cafe there if you want to get refreshments on the walk here. We're going to continue now. I'm starting to climb the gradient. They've also got a falconry centre there. Well, certainly that's what it says on the OS map. I'll check the website and I'll put the details on that below. So if you're in the area and you want to see some falconry, that might be an option for you. It was sad. I did a video last year to Newent, the Birds of Prey Centre, and sadly that has now closed. I think COVID hit its budget and it's sadly no more, though they are still doing some conservation work behind the scenes, but they're no longer open to the public. But yeah, there is a falconry centre as far as I'm aware, unless that's closed as well, but I'll check that and put that in below. So that's Batsford and the garden centre and the Arboretum. As I say, I have been to the Arboretum, not filmed it, but I will be there to do that. And my YouTube colleagues, Carol and Derek, have certainly covered Batsford Arboretum. So if you want to check out Carol and Derek's channel, you will find a video all about Batsford Arboretum on there, and it's a very, very beautiful place. It's not as big as Westonbirt Arboretum, which is near the town of Tetbury, also in the Cotswolds, not that far away from here. And it's smaller than that one, but I think it's more picturesque. I think it's more colourful throughout the year, whereas the one at Tetbury, Westonbirt Arboretum, tends to just explode with colour around autumn, but there isn't. It can be a little bit dull if you visit this time of year, but they're both well worth exploring places, and we'll probably cover both of them at some point here on the channel. So I've just included a photograph right about now showing you the details of the Arboretum. Please bear in mind the car park closing time's got an automatic gate, so if you decide to park there and do a walk, you need to get back. I think it said 5:15, so double check that. So no late evening walking parking there, but as I say, I've parked in one of the side streets in Moreton, so it doesn't really matter how late I am getting back today. So yeah, we've now joined the Heart of England Way, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. So the Heart of England Way actually starts at Milford Common on Cannock Chase in Staffordshire, so quite a bit outside of the area that I cover. So that's kind of north of Birmingham. Birmingham's my upper northern limit here on the channel, so I won't actually be doing that one, but it does head down into the area that I cover, because it finishes at Bourton-on-the-Water, which is also, as you know, in the Cotswolds, probably one of the most famous places in the Cotswolds, of course. But I say I won't be covering that town either, or village should I say, because it's been done to death on YouTube and it gets very, very busy. So I come to, rather than having Bourton-on-the-Water today, we have Borton-on-the-Hill, which I think is rather less well known, but I think equally delightful. It doesn't have the streams that its on the water sister has, if you like, but it is equally as pretty. So we're following the road, the access road that goes in and out of the Arboretum, so excuse the vehicles coming out of the Arboretum today, because obviously it's busy. It's a Sunday, it's a garden centre there as well, so I'm sure people getting plans to put their bedding into their gardens on a beautiful spring Sunday here. And then we're going to join the main road, a little bit of a short, I won't do pieces to camera on that, but I will join up with you again when we get into the centre of Borton-on-the-Hill. So here we are in the delightful village of Borton-on-the-Hill, and as I say, it's on the crossing point of both the Monarch's Way and the Heart of England Way, and we're also quite close to the Cotswold Way as well, so it's good walking country here. Sadly, the village is slightly marked by the fact it's on the A44, which is the main road between Worcester and Oxford, but once you step away from that road, you can find some really quiet spots here in this beautiful Cotswold village. I'm just going to rest a while here from my walk, and then I'm going to take some photographs around the village. I'll do that for you now, so you can have a look around the village and shoot some video as well. And then we'll make our way back, starting on the Heart of England Way, back through to Moreton-in-Marsh. now leaving the village of Bourton-on-the-Hill, and we're following the Heart of England Way. I think it goes down to a stream, and then we'll turn away off the Heart of England Way and follow along a flat level towards the town of Moreton-in-Marsh, and then I'll do a quick tour around there. Yeah, beautiful village here. As I say, it's just slightly marred by that noise of the traffic, but once you get away from that, so I sat around the back of the church there, so I was padded from the sound of the road by the brickwork of the St Lawrence Grade 1 listed church. Sorry I didn't have time to go round the church there today, but beautiful spot there, just quiet. But here, this footpath here is actually a lot quieter than when I started at Moreton-in-Marsh, making my way across the Monarch's Way. I guess because people walk to and from Batsford Arboretum, perhaps they park at Batsford, walk to Moreton-in-Marsh, or vice versa. But we're away from that now, and we're walking down the contours, down to a flatter level to the stream here in the Cotswolds. Now this is the course in the route where the paths divide. That's the Heart of England Way going along that way, making its way down to the village of Bourton-on-the-Water from Borton-on-the-Hill, and obviously further on up from Staffordshire. But we're going to make our way down this way to a lower gradient, following on the level path back to the town of Moreton-in-Marsh. Now, I haven't actually used a set route, I haven't done the Cotswold River Walks or one of the other Cotswold books I've gone today. It's literally just browsing maps. Although I've got the OS app on my phone and pay a monthly subscription for that, I've got a collection of paper versions of the maps at home, obviously all dotted around the Cotswold areas and Devon and Cornwall and other areas in the West Country region that I cover on my channel here, West Country Wanderings. And I like to browse maps, and today, or last night in fact, I did have a look through some of the books, and there wasn't anything there particularly that took my fancy at this particular time. I just wanted to do something a little bit different, but a gentle walk as well. And my eyes kind of homed in on Moreton-in-Marsh. I'm not sure, perhaps I was just following the Roman way up there, up the Foss Way or down from Warwickshire. Took me into Moreton-in-Marsh. I'm thinking, what if there's a walk around Moreton-in-Marsh? And then I saw that both the Heart of England Way and the Monarch's Way where it crisscrossed, and we will be meeting the Monarch's Way again, not the path that we started our walk on, but where it comes into from the south up into the town of Moreton-in-Marsh. But it's been delightful here, enjoying this walk in the spring sunshine here in the Cotswolds. Now, one thing I didn't explain about the town Moreton-in-Marsh, I did mention the boundary stone, but I didn't mention where the name Marsh comes from. You're probably thinking, if you're not from this part of the world, that it's marshy land all round Moreton-in-Marsh. Well, no, that's not the case. Moreton-in-Marsh, although it's not as high as Stow-on-the-Wold, obviously the Wold town, it's pretty self-evident where that name comes from. It's a very high town at Stow-on-the-Wold. Moreton-in-Marsh is still pretty high up as well. It's not quite as exposed to the high winds that Stow gets. But the name doesn't come from marshy area at all. Marsh is an Old English word meaning boundary, and of course it's the boundary was the former 4 counties that I mentioned earlier in the video, which then included Worcestershire. It doesn't include it now, though Worcestershire isn't far away from here either, a little further to the west of Moreton-in-Marsh, just a few miles up to Broadway, should I say. But it comes from Border, because that's where the then 4 counties and the current 3 counties all met, or nearby, just to the east of the town. It's where they all link up, namely Gloucestershire, Warwickshire and Oxfordshire. Now, this walk is a game of 2 halves really. The first part of the walk, going up to the town of Borton-on-the-Hill, apart from being uphill, wasn't quite so enjoyable for me. It's beautiful with the buttercups there, and I did enjoy it to some extent, but it was very, very busy. Now I've left Borton-on-the-Hill, I'm starting the walk back, and I've come away from the Heart of England Way. I'm on this path, so it is a right of way, but it's not a national trail. I haven't seen one other person And it's really so much quieter. I don't seem to have had the planes buzzing overhead like I did on the earlier part of the walk, and I'm well away from the noise of the town as well. But yeah, it's absolutely delightful here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of West Country Wanderings, Cotswold Walk number 7 from Moreton-in-Marsh to Borton-on-the-Hill and back again. There'll be another Cotswold Walks in the not too distant future. If you hit the subscribe and the bell, then YouTube will notify you when that one is published. I've really enjoyed my walk here today in the Cotswolds. Love to hear from you. What's your favourite walk? I know a few of you have told me before, and I'd love to hear from other people, so you can share across the world, because I've got subscribers all across the world. What are the parts of the world that you most enjoy walking in, and why is that the case? Is it for peace and quiet, or is it for you may enjoy walking around the centre of London in all the noise and chaos there? I must admit that's not for me, but if that's your sort of thing, that's nothing wrong with that at all. Must admit I'd prefer places to be quieter. I will end today's video doing a bit of video, if you like, and some photographs around the town, the Cotswold town of Moreton-in-Marsh. But until the next video here on West Country Wanderings, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you on the channel here again very soon. All the best for now. Cheers. Bye bye.